Hobin is a skinny, scared, loser school student who lives a regular life with a regular job, trying to make enough money to pay for his mom's cancer treatment and provide for himself. The school day starts with the new tuber Paco live streaming his 700,000 subscribers special with a special guest, and the football team's favorite student Rumi, a hot new makeup YouTuber with 5,000 subscribers and big dreams. They show off Rumi's work by panning to Hobin, who they are using for money. Paco lies to his stream about a PC giveaway, so everyone knows what type of person he is. And after the live stream, Hobin gets attacked by Paco's cameraman Snapper, who is friends with him for clout. Hobin and Snapper stop fighting and overhear Paco and Rumi's conversation about making 30,000 yen from that short stream, and they both think, I should become a YouTuber. Snapper goes to Paco and asks what he needs to start a channel. Paco says that he will need his parents' bank account and a bank book because minors can't receive money. Snapper says that he used his parents' money before, and they found out, so now he can't touch their bank account. Then he had a bright idea. He asked Hobin if his mom was alive so he could use her bank account. Paco joins in on the bullying as well, and Hobin tells himself that he should punch them, but he's a bit. Then we get a flashback of him visiting his mom at the hospital where she is very sick, and he thinks about how he could use that 30,000 yen that they made in that lunch break and how little money he makes working at his part-time restaurant job. He gets upset until he remembers about the baddie that works with him. Just having a conversation and looking at her makes him happy. And then Paco walks into his restaurant live streaming and yelling. Hobin hides so that he's not seen by Paco and his good boy Snapper. Paco is there to meet Bomi Choi, who has also been blowing up on social media. Paco makes a challenge for her to make a burger in 30 seconds or she will have to give him her phone number. He tries talking to her more, and it's very obvious how uncomfortable she is. He's as smooth as sandpaper with the girls. Hobin steps in, gives him the burger he asked for, and walks away. He says, I'm definitely getting beat up tomorrow. And it pans to Bomi Choi, looking at him impressed for stepping in. We follow Hobin back to his house where he lets Snapper stream from his house, using his mom's bank account, and somehow Hobin became his maid and is cooking him food as well. He accidentally trips on a wire and unplugs his PC while Snapper was doing a challenge to get 30 kills for a 30,000 yen donation. He also dropped his food, so he starts getting beat up again. Then Snapper says something that triggers Hobin to finally fight back. You're the reason your mom has cancer. He throws his noodles and hits him with a smooth uppercut. This time it's an actual fight, not just a beatdown. Hobin pasta whips him, and Snapper hits him with cooking utensils, and without them knowing, Snapper's webcam is still rolling. He went from a gamer to a punching bag in seconds, and his streaming career lasted as long as my relationships. Hobin goes to sleep after the fight, and when he wakes up, his phone is being blown up by Snapper, telling him to delete the video. Hobin was confused because he thought he unplugged the PC, but when he checked, it was just the monitor cord. Snapper is crying because the ass beating was all caught on live stream and uploaded to Hobin's YouTube account. The video completely blew up and had over 10,000 comments. Hobin was going to delete the video until he realized how much money he could make from the 10 million view video. Snapper returns to school and everyone is laughing at him now as well. Even Pago and Rumi, who has red knees now. Snapper goes to pick on someone who he thinks will be easy so he can get his popularity back and catches another left hook mixed with ground and pound from this fat nerd. And Snapper realizes he's now the loser. It cuts to Hobin receiving a 120,000 yen hospital bill, and he has the money ready. And then Snapper comes to him with a weak-ass punch and starts crying like the bitch is. He asks for half of the money because his life is ruined, and he gets kicked in the coin purse. Hobin tells him he deserves everything coming to him. Another fight breaks out between them, and it was recorded again. This time secretly by Snapper, and Snapper asks Hobin to join him in getting money. Snapper will be Hobin's producer now, but he's secretly planning to just use him to get his clout back. Snapper asks for a 90-10 split of the money, and Hobin flips him off. And then Hobin haggles down to 10-90 in favor of Hobin. Snapper tells him his content idea is to call out bullies in real time. Snapper and Hobin are back at school being bullied on stream by Paco, who wants more clout. Paco brings up the PC giveaway again, and Hobin yells that it's all a lie on the live stream. "It's all stage," Hobin says, and he's not going to give away anything. Hobin says he's a punk and a delinquent, and takes his shirt off to show some bruises he received from Paco. He tells the viewers that he will expose Paco on his channel, hoping to steal Paco's viewers. But Paco's battery died and the stream ended, so he gets his ass beat for nothing again. But wait, Snapper is in a group watching and streaming the beatdown. Hobin decides he should fight back, but then he starts glazing Paco for his big muscles, hands, and tattoos, and calls himself a scrawny twig. Hobin considers apologizing, but Paco brings up his mom's cancer. He goes for the takedown on Paco and doesn't move him, but instead he gets powerbombed. Right when Paco is about to finish Hobin with a punch, a student in the back of the class who was napping tells him to stop and be quiet. This hurts Paco's ego, and he starts yelling back until the student sits up and Paco realizes he is the rising MMA star Moon Sung Kim. Paco starts apologizing. Moon Sung Kim tells him to watch his mouth, and Paco obeys him, and Moon Sung Kim goes back to sleep. Hobin is lying on the ground beat up, but he just gained a lot of new fans from his secret stream. Paco is at home thinking about how his phone dying saved him from being outed as a loser and a liar. But when he charges his phone and turns it back on, he is being spammed with notifications. He was confused, but then he figures out why and is shocked. The video went viral and is trending everywhere. Paco instantly goes to start up a live stream and apologize to save himself as much as he can, and people started to believe his lies again. But his viewers started digging up old stage giveaways, and he started losing subscribers rapidly. Everyone started subscribing to Hobin, and Paco was now old news. Hobin and Snapper are at school, and Snapper tells Hobin that he needs to last at least 3 minutes in his fights so they can put ads in the videos and make money. Hobin goes to the internet to learn how to fight, which could never be wrong, and he finds a YouTube channel called How to Fight with no subscribers but a lot of videos. He clicks on a video and starts learning from this YouTuber named Samdak. The first lesson is how to get hit without getting hurt, so he thinks it's a scam, and he goes to sleep. The next morning, he quits his job at McDonald's. In the girls' change room, they're all talking about it, and when Bomi Choi hears about it, she turns instantly and leaves the change room. She says to the manager that Hobin is speaking to that she thinks Hobin is cool, and thanks him for exposing Paco. She asks for Hobin's contact information so that they can still see each other after he quits. "I'll text you," she says, and Hobin is frozen. He secures the number and they start texting. While Hobin is at school, Snapper comes over and asks if he's figured out how to extend a fight to 3 minutes yet, and Hobin says, "I'll give it some more thought." Snapper starts yelling that he can't let this opportunity go to waste. And then mid-conversation, Rumi asks Hobin to stream with her. Hobin and Snapper can't resist the opportunity. But Snapper's a bit suspicious and asks why she wants to stream with them, and she says that her viewers keep asking for it and that she never liked Paco. Snapper suggests a double date, and then Paco breaks into the room yelling he wants to kill Hobin for ruining his life. Hobin remembers the video he watched from Samdak, and one of the tips was that an angry opponent is easier to defeat. Hobin screams and attempts to use the technique to not get hurt, and then Snapper starts recording. Paco leaves the room after seeing that and threatens them that he will get revenge. Hobin freezes and says, "What the hell was that? Who in the world is that guy?" talking about the video he watched. Hobin is in public waiting for a late Snapper so they can discuss their content, and while he's waiting, he texts Bomi. She texts, "I don't like texting. I prefer hearing a person's voice." Hobin thinks she doesn't want to text him, but she just means she wants to call him. Then a random girl and guy recognize Hobin and walk up to him asking questions and then take him to an alley to rob him. Snapper comes running around the corner to save him and gets one punched. Then the guy takes his phone and walks off. Somehow Snapper was recording again while he was on the ground. Then Snapper and his viewers convince Hobin to go after that couple who are apparently well known in that area. While streaming, Snapper follows Hobin to confront the thief. Hobin remembers another tip from Samdak's videos: to figure out your opponent's dominant hand so you can position yourself accordingly. It was easy because he was holding a microphone with his right hand. The thief says, "You want to throw down?" And when he goes for the punch, Hobin blocks it with his head. He blocked the punch before he got full momentum in his swing. He throws another punch and Hobin weaves out of the way. He keeps weaving as the thief misses punch after punch, and then he blocks another punch with his head. "Give me back my phone! I need to reply to Bomi," Hobin yells. While he keeps getting punched, he realizes that he never watched a video on what to do after you can take all the punches. They start losing viewers because the fight has become too slow. Then Snapper sees a comment saying Hobin will win this fight, and it's from an MMA pro apparently. Everyone is questioning what he means and he replies, "Amateurs. Look at his fists. He hasn't noticed because of the adrenaline, but they are in a world of trouble." The thief drops to the floor in pain after the adrenaline wears off and Hobin won the fight. Now he has to go to the hospital from taking all those face shots, but he got his phone back and can text Bomi, so he's happy. They finished the week with 1 million views and finally started making money. 2 million yen was the payout. They're in a store, and now they're worrying about being demonetized. Then Rumi walks by while streaming. She's eating a breaded glizzy and got ketchup on her drum mags for attention. She sees Hobin and starts chasing him so she can get some more clout, so they run away. Hobin gets sidetracked by a tracksuit he likes and was flabbergasted by the price. It was worth Snapper's salary and probably 10 nights with Rumi. Hobin turns to leave, and Snapper is spending all of his money on the tracksuit. Snapper tries telling Hobin that he should buy one because it's a basic thing to have, but Hobin's brain still works better than Snapper's even after taking all those punches, and he passes on buying anything. Then Hobin gets a text and is shocked by who it is. He ends up buying the tracksuit, so the punches actually did affect his head. And while he's waiting for the person who texted him, the haters around him start talking down on him. And then someone yells that they're a big fan and asks for a selfie. Hobin thinks it's him, but it's actually the tall YouTuber behind him. The guy asks a different girl to do an interview, and she declines it. She says, "Sorry, I have a prior engagement," and then points at Hobin. The girl is Bomi. She shows up late, and they realize their outfits are matching. "I should have never disrespected you, Hobin." Hobin gets a flashback of how he was jealous of the popular kids and is a short loser with bad grades. But he doesn't feel that way anymore with Bomi. They touch hands and Hobin almost explodes, with happiness, of course. He starts daydreaming, and when he comes back to reality, he has white stuff on his mouth and realizes he's at a cafe now. More haters are talking about Hobin and saying that he doesn't deserve Bomi, and it shows a girl in a yellow jacket stalking them. Hobin hears the people and starts wondering if they're right. He starts acting awkward and takes off his matching jacket. He barely speaks and he fumbles Bomi. She says that over text he's great, but in person he doesn't talk at all, and it's not fun. She thinks she's the problem and starts walking away. Hobin says, "You must be embarrassed to be with me, right?" He starts apologizing and says that he's never even talked to a girl and doesn't know how to behave. He starts opening up to her, telling her his hobbies and what he does for fun. He also says that he gets too nervous when he even looks at her. He starts telling her how he really feels about her and is sweating. Now Bomi is blushing. They eat their food and leave together now. While they're walking, Bomi gets a call, and she says it's a friend that she used to be close with in middle school. She says that her friend goes to school with Hobin. His name is Moonsung Kim, the MMA rookie. Hobin thinks the same thing that everyone else is thinking. She asks if Hobin knows him, and he says that they're good friends. When Moonsung Kim shows up, he also is wearing the matching tracksuit. Bomi then asks Moonsung Kim if they're friends. Hobin thinks he's about to get called a liar and lose Bomi. But Moonsung says, "Sure, I guess we're in the same class." Hobin is confused because they've never even talked, and he doesn't know Hobin's name. They talk about random things that have nothing to do with anything, and then they start walking together. Hobin feels like the third wheel during this time and makes an excuse to leave. He walks off and Snapper was streaming this. Snapper pulls him to an alleyway and calls him an idiot and a coward. Hobin says, "If I never fight for Bomi, then I can't lose." Snapper turns into Aristotle and starts telling him to never give up. He brings up the fact that Bomi asked him out, and Bomi spent the money on Hobin. If she wasn't interested, then why would she do that? Snapper says, "You're closer to victory right now than any of your rivals." Hobin regains confidence and realizes the loser he was being. Hobin goes back to talk to Bomi, and when he gets there, Moonsung actually has to get going. Before he leaves, he says to Hobin, "You're a good fighter," and that he looks forward to his next video. Hobin and Bomi are now at a park bench, and Hobin has something to say. He asks Bomi what her ideal type is, and she says an honest person, and right before he's about to tell her his honest feelings, he pulls Snapper out of the bush from beside him. He was recording this, but when Hobin looked at him, he was beaten up and said to run before getting drop-kicked. Hobin turns and it's Paco with his two friends. He said the live stream helped him find their location and that he was there for revenge. Hobin confidently tells Bomi to get out of there, and Paco grabs her and calls her a bitch for not giving her phone number to him. He calls her a whore, and when Hobin was about to get angry, he remembered the video he watched and to stay calm. Hobin says, "Paco, you want to become a loser again?" He lets go of Bomi, throws a punch at Hobin to try to block it with his head again, but it was an uppercut, so he wasn't ready. Paco said he watched his video before knocking out Hobin. He picks him up and hits him again, while his loser friends hold Bomi and make her watch. It cuts to the spy with the yellow jacket hiding behind a tree also watching, and then Hobin drops to his knees and asks for Paco to stop. Paco said it wasn't sincere and told him to take off his pants. I guess he wasn't cool enough for Rumi anymore. And then Paco tells Hobin that he's forcing Snapper to stream all of this. Snapper apologizes, and when Paco tells Hobin to take off his pants and apologize again, he gets slapped by Bomi. Paco grabs her and tells Snapper to not record this part, and when he is about to hit her, Hobin pulls down his pants and takes off everything except his underwear. Paco tells him to send all his money to him and delete his channel. So what does Hobin do? He starts taking off his underwear. Paco tells him to stop so he doesn't get permabanned, and right before he takes them off, Munsong Kim pulls him up by his underwear so he doesn't continue. "Hobin, you can keep those on," he says. Munsong saw the stream and rushed over to help Hobin and Bomi. He then beats all three of the losers' faces in, and Paco starts begging him to not touch him. Munsong hits him with his hardest punch yet, and it sends Paco flying. "Are you all right, Bomi?" he asks, and Bomi said she is fine, but was worried about Hobin. Munsong says, "Let's go, Bomi," and temporarily takes his girl. Munsong says that he needs to be left alone at this time. Bomi and the yellow jacket stalker both look at Hobin sadly as they leave the area, and he is on his knees half naked in the rain. Hobin starts questioning when he became such a scared loser. At birth? When his father left? And he realized it was when Paco started bullying and attacking him. He lost all his confidence and hated school. He starts crying and Snapper is beside him apologizing. They're back at school and Paco is streaming again. This time instead of Hobin wearing the makeup, it's Snapper. Hobin hasn't been to school for a while, so Paco started targeting him instead. Bomi tries to call Hobin, and he doesn't answer. He says that he wants to disappear. He stays at home and changes himself. He watches videos on how to fight. He starts working out. Paco streams himself attacking and bullying Snapper to try and get Hobin to come to school, and Snapper tells him to stay home. But it's too late. Hobin is watching the stream on his phone, and when it pans up, he's at school in the classroom that they are bullying Snapper. Hobin starts his own stream and throws his phone to Snapper, who is confused. Hobin says, "What are you doing? Film me," and he steps up to Paco, ready to fight. We get Edge with a flashback of what happened the whole time Hobin wasn't at school. Snapper congratulates Rumi on hitting 100,000 subscribers, and she asks him to buy her a Birkin bag or something. Now Snapper is asking to be Rumi's producer, but Paco comes up to him with his fake Adidas slides and starts beating the shit out of him for betraying him. Everyone in the class stands around him and calls him the worst and a loser. Paco starts up a stream and starts disrespecting his audience because the only people who watch him now have a kink for being degraded, and he hits 900,000 subscribers. Paco wants to find a way to get to 1 million subscribers, so he tells Snapper to get Hobin to come to school. If he can do that, he can become his cameraman again. Snapper agrees, mostly because he's tired of the beatings, and after school he goes to Hobin's mom's hospital room so that he can ask for his address. He gets his address, but the next day at school he gets beat up again because he couldn't get Hobin to come to school. The CTE speedrun is the only success he's been having. Paco tried to get Hobin to show up by Snapper talking to the livestream, but he told him to not show up. He couldn't give up Hobin like that. He thought about the time when Hobin's mom said that he brought up his first and only friend, and he refuses to betray him. We learn a bit later on what Hobin has been doing in the month that wasn't at school, but it makes more sense to tell now. He was watching the YouTubers' tutorials. It says to gain weight, so he starts eating more. He works out for strength and stamina, And lastly, he learns how to do an MMA leg kick. Now we're back to current time. Hobin kicks Paco's leg. He laughs and says he missed his thigh, where low kicks usually hit. But Snapper sees a comment from the MMA fighter saying it was perfect. Munsung Kim says the same thing. It was a calf kick. Paco starts chasing Hobin around the classroom while he runs and evades, waiting for the perfect time to do a calf kick. Munsung wonders why he's not doing the next move, and Paco figures out how to block the calf kick. Hobin yells, "I'm not a loser!" And when Paco thinks another calf kick is coming, he hits him with an overhand hook, dropping him in an instant. Paco's friends say they'll make him pay, and Snapper jumps in saying to not lay a finger on his friend. They back down, but not because of Snapper. Behind him is Munsung. He says, "Hobin, that was awesome, so you can stop crying." And Hobin tells everyone to subscribe and turn on notifications, of course. Paco doesn't show his face at school anymore, and Hobin hits 150,000 subscribers. He also bought his mom a new outfit for 180,000 yen because he's a big baller now. His mom tells him that his friend stopped by, and right before Snapper walks into the room, Hobin says, "Oh, you mean Munsung?" and leaves the room where he sees Snapper. Hobin says he has another friend now, the kind douchebag, Snapper. Hobin and Snapper are at their house, and Snapper suggests hiring an editor so their channel can do better. Hobin goes along with it, but doesn't know where to find one. Snapper starts a live stream and they ask their viewers if any of them would do it. Everyone in the chat had the bio of a Discord mod, so Hobin and Snapper start whispering that they would not be good, considering none of them even had experience. But then they get a comment saying, "I've edited a bit of videos." It's the MMA fighter that comments on Hobin's fights. Snapper is skeptical, but they agree to do an interview with him. They're at school, and Hobin is looking at his account. It looks like a 45-year-old auntie's Facebook profile, to say the least. Snapper says to block him, and Hobin tells him that he won't. They haven't figured out where they're going to interview the person or anything, but then they walk into the classroom. The whole time it is the girl that was always stalking Hobin in the yellow jacket. It wasn't a middle-aged man like they predicted. It's a first-year student named Gail Lee, who's famed for being cute, I guess. She touches Snapper's finger when he points at her, and he gets very happy and daydreams about the family they'd have. He snaps out of it, and she's showing Hobin the video she edited. Snapper just wants her hired because she's hot to him, but Hobin is actually examining the video. Then she shows the part where she blocks Hobin, taking his clothes off. He gets embarrassed and hires her on the spot. Hobin asks why she picked to edit for them with that much skill, but she doesn't f***ing answer and says, "I look forward to working with you." Bomi sees that Hobin is active on YouTube again and wonders if he'll ever contact her again. She walks by an arcade with a bunch of people standing around it. Inside, there's a bunch of people who've been beaten up, and the person who did it is playing a video game. Hobin and Snapper find out and figure out that it is Tae-Hoon Song, a new and former MMA fighter who got kicked out of the league for causing too much problems. Snapper makes fun of him for using Taekwondo, which is the last person to be talking. "I don't think you've landed a hit on anyone so far, except Hobin." That's when their editor Gail calls him a complete amateur and talks about the strength of a Taekwondo kick. Anyway, Snapper tells Hobin that Tae-Hoon will be his next opponent for a video, and Hobin tells Snapper that he's insane. Hobin wonders what he's supposed to do against a pro, and asks to do an eating contest instead. But Hobin says, "At that point, I didn't know that a surefire strategy to win was so close at hand." Then it cuts to Tae-Hoon's backstory, and this dude is a complete menace. Next, we see him walking home, and some fat guy calls him out for hitting his friends and makes fun of Taekwondo. He goes to grab Tae-Hoon and gets kicked in the face like prime Shawn Michaels. Then he starts hitting Street Fighter kicking combos to completely finish him. He asks the guy's friend for 100 yen, and he agrees. He kicks the big guy again and asks for 10,000 yen, and he agrees. He kicks the big guy one more time and asks for 1 million yen, but he doesn't have it. He starts relentlessly kicking the shit out of the guy who started this all. And in the background, Snapper is recording, and Tae-Hoon sees him. Snapper hides and thinks he's safe. But when he's showing Hobin, Tae-Hoon shows up and asks why he was recording. Snapper says that his Taekwondo was really cool, but Tae-Hoon recognizes Hobin from his channel viral hit, and he heard that they wanted to fight him. He tells Hobin to give him his new tube because he wants the money, and then he kicks Snapper in the stomach. His whole thing is to take your friends hostage and make you feel powerless. He asks for 100 yen now. And that's where I'm going to end this video. If you enjoyed and want a part 2 of this anime, like and comment. Thank you for watching.